What's going on YouTube? Got another track guide for you today. This time, it's an updated track guide. We're driving the MX5 around the Charlotte Roval. First of all, if you like the video, please hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, thank you very much. Without further ado, let's just jump right in. Let's go! So coming across the start finish line here, we're going to be in 4th gear as we brake for turn number 1. Braking point, we've got this lovely number 1 board, or even the white line just to the left of us here. Use either of those as your braking marker. Brake gently and quickly down into 3rd gear. You just use the throttle to balance the car as we are entering the corner. The goal here is to get your car lined up on the curb as you apex. You just want to clip this red and white curb and be able to go full throttle as you do so. Then we just take the natural racing line to the outside of the track. Get as close to the wall for this left-hander as we possibly can as we shift up to 4th, and I'm just going to hold it here. As you can see, we've just got the car over to the left-hand side of the track as much as we can, so we can open up the entry to this next turn. We have the escape road on our left. That's going to be your indicator, your marker, to just tap the brakes, just cover the brakes and drop it down to 3rd. Very similar to the first turn, hardly any brake needed, and we're going to use the throttle to balance the car as we enter this turn, and we aim to get our car on that curb on the inside. At this point of the corner, again, we're going to be using the throttle to balance the car as well as some of the brake. Once again, your goal is to get your car on the inside curb as we go through the second part of this turn. As you can see, unfortunately, I just miss it, but it's the same gist. You get on the power as you begin to get close to that curb and run out all the way wide. Just pausing it here for our turning point. You want to get 2 wheels on the white paint to our left here and aim your car for the curb on the inside. You're going to remain full power until you get just past that curb. That's when you're going to start to brake. Again, braking very gently because we're going to be turning whilst we're doing so. Just a lot of trail braking, getting the car pointed towards the wall on the inside. We need to get as close as we can to that wall. So we're in 3rd gear. As we get close to the wall, we straddle that curb and go full power. This will then drag you to the outside of the track, which is then the inside for this next turn. I would advise you to just lift off the throttle to try and keep the car a bit stable, especially if you're on the curb on the inside. And then as we transition into this next series of corners, you can see this green light. You want to get your car as close to the wall as you can about this point. And when you're alongside this green light, that's when you're going to start thinking about the second half of this turn. Your goal here is to get as close to the wall as possible, and you also need to get on the power as early as you possibly can because you're going to carry that speed all the way around the bank section of the track. Let's run it forward here because everyone knows how to drive around the oval in this car. And so here we are in 5th gear, approaching the bus stop. We're going to be braking hard down to 3rd gear. I like to use the stars and stripes on the wall to our right here as a braking marker. When the paint changes from the stripes to the stars, that's when we brake. So braking hard initially and then bleeding off the brakes as we get close to that curb. And as soon as we hit the curb, lift off the brakes. And then when all 4 wheels are back on the ground, in between the left and the right, pump the brakes again, turn right, clip the curb and then ease the power back on. Then just take the line of least resistance and then we're back on the oval. Let's zip through here. Just going to leave the car in 4th gear. I'm not going to bother changing up to 5th. I don't believe it's worth it. And then for the braking point here, I don't necessarily have a braking point. It's just when my car comes off the oval, you'll see your car bounce as you come off it. About a second after you come off the oval, hit the brakes hard. You can even use some of the grass to our left. I believe it's actually AstroTurf or even just painted asphalt. Use some of that green stuff to open up the entry to the last turn, braking hard down to 3rd gear. As we begin to get close to the curb and we turn in, we begin to bleed off the brakes to allow the car to turn. Whenever your car hits the curb and you're on 2 wheels, you don't want to be full throttle. You need to modulate that. When your car gets back on level ground, full power, then you turn left, hit the curb again, lift off the power, then full power as soon as we land, and we cross the line with a time of 1:33.300. We've got the uninterrupted cockpit lap coming up now. Thanks very much for watching. See you in a bit.
1 minute.